Hi, this is a video submission for Hazeldan1216's 100 subscriber contest. I was just struck by this request, so I thought it was a great chance to make my first YouTube video and tell my little story on how I got started collecting comics. Back in August of this past year, 2017, I had already frequented my local comic shop. It had actually changed hands and ownership a few times. Wasn't terribly impressed with the comic shop very much prior to the most recent owner, and had bought a few collectibles and pop vinyls and things and gifts for my son and for myself. And a couple of years ago, I was looking to, we had been to a few Comic Cons and locally, just small ones, and he really enjoyed the Lego figures, little minifigures. So I thought it would be great if I could order some of those little figures and do like a little business selling them at the Comic Cons, and we would end up getting, weekend passes, and I had this great vision that it was all going to be, so much fun. So I started collecting minifigures, buying them online as low as I could get them, whatever was popular, and amassing the stock. Well, I never ended up getting to a Comic-Con to sell any of them. The prices to set up booths at these conventions can be outrageous, and when you consider you're only making $2-3 a sale in profit, it really wasn't worth the investment. But I had quite a large collection. I had over 400 figures. So one time I was in my local comic shop, and I asked the owner, I said, "Hey, I got this collection of minifigures. I see that you sell some." And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, well, I'll bring them by, and maybe I wouldn't mind selling them to you, wholesale them to you." He agreed. So I went over there, and actually what happened was I was walking into the store, and I saw this comic here, Wolverine #1, his limited series. And I just fell in love with it. I was always a big X-Men animated television series fan. When I was a kid, I collected the Wolverine from then till now trading cards. And so I just always loved Wolverine, and thought he was a great character. Movies are pretty good too. I enjoyed those, but really enjoyed the comic and cartoon version the most. So I went over there, and I offered, we made a deal. So I saw this on the way in, and it was, I think, $50 or something like that. And I said, I really want that comic. I said to myself, so I said, you know what, if I walked out of here not knowing much about comics, I had over $400. I had probably about $400 invested in my minifigure collection. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make a deal. And as long as I walk out with that comic, I'm going to be happy, right? Nothing can go wrong. So I go in there. I ended up working out a great deal. Got all my money back. And then also walked away with a large balance in store credit as well. And I said, before I go, I want to pick out one thing from the shop, whatever it is. I just got to pick it out, and as long as it's not ridiculously unreasonable, I want to walk out with that item. And he agreed. So of course I stood right up from the deal making table, and I picked up this comic and I walked out with it. Well, I had only had one comic that I kept from when I was a kid, and it was a Wolverine comic as well, in his ongoing series, volume, I guess, series 2, volume 1, or volume 2, however you want to call it, his first long-running series after this one. So technically this would be like my second comic that I had kept, but this is what started it in August. Right now my collection's up to about 792. I think last time I was scared enough to count it, it was about 792. So we've grown quite a bit since then. That's just since this past August. Mostly going through the credit that I had at the store, if I saw something, I just grabbed it. I just took it home. It was like free. So I stopped there almost every day for months. And especially when he had sales, he used to say not too long ago that I had stretched that relatively modest as far as collecting goes, a store credit, and to easily triple that amount worth in comic value. And I just kept buying comics, just whatever I saw that I really liked, trying to complete a Wolverine collection. I'm still trying to complete that. And then I'm a sucker for number ones also. So I see a number one and I pick it up, and then I'm also the type of collector that if I have one, for instance, I have a Captain America number 404, which is part 3 of 6 of a series, and it has Wolverine battling Captain America. And so I said, you know what, I haven't even read it yet because I want to wait till I get parts 1 and 2, and then of course parts 4 and 5 and 6. So and I picked that comic up at a dollar bin. So I got $1, and I might spend $20 trying to complete the collection of that little story arc. So anyway, that's my little grail. That's the best comic that I picked up in 2017. It was the first comic that I picked up in 2017, and the first time collecting for decades, and have really enjoyed that comic. I have the complete set of that, and I'm working on completing all volumes of Wolverine up until death, and just working on all that. And of course, I've collected several other comics since then. Subscribed to a couple of modern subscription comics. Enjoyed that, and pretty much a sucker for anything Wolverine. And my son has also joined in with me, and he's collected almost 300 comics himself, a lot with my help. He's a big Beta Ray Bill fan, and Deadpool, and he likes Silver Surfer and Darth Vader, Star Wars comics. So we've kind of got into doing it together, and even my wife has joined in a little bit. She likes the Betty and Veronica comics, which are ridiculously expensive to get any in a decent shape, but that's just the way she is. She found something perfect that she enjoys, and of course it's one of the most expensive comics you can try and collect and to get a complete collection. So I've really enjoyed every time I found one for her, to bring her home one or to order one if I can, and we've enjoyed it quite a bit. So that's how I got started in comics, and that's my grail for this past year. And thanks for asking this question, and I've enjoyed making this video, and I'll subscribe to the community. I've really enjoyed it all, and look forward to seeing you all again. Thanks. Bye.